Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Wake Up Wednesday! Ooh, damn girl. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for getting involved. If you are not already subscribed, I have no idea what you are doing. Please go over right to that button. You know what button I'm talking about, the subscribe button. Make sure you hit subscribe and click on the bell button so you're notified every time I post a video. Anyway, as you know, we are still on the series of the 4 P's, and I told you that it will kind of make sense towards the end of it, and obviously this is the second let's call it episode out of the 4 P's. Last week for the Wake Up Wednesday, I posted up a video that was all about positioning. That was the first P. It was all about positioning, and I started off telling you guys about the story in the Bible of Ruth. Naomi was like her mother-in-law. Naomi lost her husband and her 2 sons. Obviously that's Ruth losing her husband, and then she had another daughter-in-law called Orpah, which actually someone commented underneath the video and told me that Oprah's name actually is Orpah, or was supposed to be Orpah, but they made a mistake on her birth certificate. So shout out to you for letting me know that, because I actually didn't know that. Orpah was also one of the daughter-in-laws, but her husband passed away as well. Now the reason why I was talking about positioning was because they basically had to move. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm not going to go through the story again. Just make sure you pause this video, check out that video first, and then come back to this. Now that was last week. Now today we are talking about patience. A word that a lot of us do not like to hear, a word that a lot of us run away from, but a word that we need to talk about. So obviously I was telling you guys a story of, you know, once Ruth lost her husband, she refused to leave Naomi, even though Naomi literally said to her, listen, my husband has died, my sons have died, your husband has died, you just go back to your land, go back to, you know, your family, you know, there's nothing I can offer you here. But Ruth refused. She said, listen, where you go I will go, your God will become my God, your people my people, where you die I will die. So crazy, but she did it. Now we're much further along in the story. Now if you want to know more, or you want to know the story properly, listen, read the book of Ruth. But essentially the reason why I got this word about patience was the fact that a lot of us already know the story. We know that Ruth then ends up getting married to a man who was a very wealthy man called Boaz. Boaz, you know, I made mention of it before, how people always say, oh, I'm looking for my Boaz, or, you know, men would say, oh, I'm looking for my Ruth, or whatever. They were just kind of seen as like that couple to kind of emulate and to kind of love. Now we all know the story. We know that, okay, eventually Ruth is going to end up with Boaz. They get married, they're husband and wife, whatever. They live happily ever after. Great, fantastic. But what we don't always talk about in between is the amount of work that Ruth actually does before she even becomes his wife. Now once they had moved, Ruth didn't just sit on her backside and say, okay, now I've been repositioned, now I'm in a new land, now I'm in a new place, let me just see what's going to happen, let me just go with the flow, which anyone knows me knows that I really do hate that term. It irks my soul. I'm just gonna go with the flow. No, she got her butt out on the field and started working. She was literally plowing the field. And I remember reading this thinking, it's so mad, because we don't talk about that part. We talk about the success, we talk about the marriage, we talk about the greatness that happens at the end, we talk about her living happily ever after, but we never talk about that in between, that process, that journey in between. Ruth did not just sit down and say, okay, I'm gonna let everything else happen for me, or I'm gonna let somebody else determine my future. No, Ruth said, you know what, we need to be able to survive, we need to be able to do what we need to do, and I know that there's a reason why I have been called here. Obviously these are not her exact words, but you know, just paraphrasing, you know, she left. But let me just explain something to you. Bearing in mind, she has left everything behind. Everything. She left her family behind, she's left, you know, her culture behind, she's left everything behind to follow this one woman who was her mother-in-law, not even her own blood relative like that, her mother-in-law. She followed her to a brand new land, and do you know what she says? She says, I'm gonna go out into the field and I'm gonna plow. And she goes out there and she gets to work. She doesn't make excuses, she doesn't doubt herself, she doesn't question where she is, she doesn't question where God has placed her, she doesn't stop herself from doing what she needs to do. She goes down on her hands and knees, she picks up the plow, she uses whatever tools they use at that time, and she gets to work. And one thing that I noticed about this story was so interesting, that she was on the field plowing, even though Boaz noticed her from afar. Boaz thought, who is this woman? Where did she come from? Boaz had to ask other people, where did this woman come from? She had no clue that any of this was even happening. She was just focused on her job, but she had patience. She had patience. She may not have completely understood exactly why she ended up in that place, or why there was this sudden urge for her to make such a dramatic decision in her life as to leave everything behind and to move, but she had the faith and she had patience. She worked. She did what she needed to do in order for her purpose to align. She did what she needed to do in order to make sure that she was still good. You know the saying, faith without works is dead. And so many of us are waiting on our backside. We will not make decisions on our own. We will not stand up. We will not make the first move. We will not do what we need to do. Hustle in the meantime. Hustle in between. What are you doing? You're waiting for things to fall in your lap. Instead of you to be working, you should be plowing. Ruth went out there, and in the midst of her patience, in the midst of, do you know what? I don't really know where life is going to take me right now, but I know that right here, right now, I've got to work. She had the patience. So you have these two women, Ruth, Naomi, they go all the way to Bethlehem. They leave everything behind, and Ruth plows and she works and she does what she needs to do from the beginning of the barley harvest time to right until the end of the barley harvest time. Now, I've done a little bit of research and I'm still a little bit confused as to what that period actually is, but from what I know that the end of it is towards is basically like mid-April, towards the end of April, and the beginning, it basically suggests the end of like winter. Again, time frame is not going to be exactly the same as it was in biblical context to now, because we know that obviously calendars are different, they went by a different calendar, etc. But roughly I'm thinking anything from about, you know, Jan, maybe Feb, all the way up until maybe April. That's just a, you know, whatever. But essentially we know that there was a season, a period, a time frame of which she did what she needed to do, and she had the patience to do it. Many of us are so impatient. We are in a generation, we know, we hear it all the time, a microwave generation, because we are not willing to put in the time, the effort and the work that people before us had put in, because we see people getting instantly famous on Instagram, instantly famous on YouTube, instantly famous online, instantly famous on all of these different platforms, and we think, why is that not happening to us? Yes, there are some people in this world who do become instantly famous. There are some people who post that one video on YouTube, it blows up, and all of a sudden they're making millions of dollars or millions of pounds every single day. But for about 99.9% of the population, that does not happen. So where is your patience? Where is your willingness to work during the harvest? To work from the beginning of the barley harvest right up until the end? Where is your patience to keep plowing? Even when it seems like you're gonna have to keep doing this every single flipping day. Even when it seems tiring. Even when it appears to be draining. It appears not to be working. You appear not to be moving anywhere, or moving into the new space, or moving into a new place. Where is your patience? And that is exactly what I really wanted to focus on today. The second P. Patience. Having enough patience to even give yourself a chance to move forward, to even give yourself a chance for your business to grow. So many of us, and I'll use even myself as an example, guys. Okay, let me tell you guys just a little bit of a story, a tiny story with BEBB. Let me be very honest with you guys. BEBB, so that's my media platform that I run with a team of us. It stands for Be Educated, Be Bold, in case you've never heard me talk about it or whatever. But essentially it's supposed to be a platform dedicated to empowering people through education, teaching people things that they don't learn in school or hear on the news, and to challenge some of the dominant narratives that exist in our mainstream media. Those are our three missions, right? Now, I was very confused for a very long time about where to take BEBB, what's next, what do I even want to do? And guys, when I say to you, I was this close, like this close to literally just shutting it all down, to just saying, do you know what, I'm sick and tired of this, I don't want to do it, I'm done. I don't like, the vision is not clear for me anymore, I'm not feeling passionate about it, I'm not seeing any tangible results from it, I'm not seeing anything worth fighting for. I just feel like I want to give up. But every time I said, okay, no, I'm done, God just kept, there was just this inkling in my gut and in my stomach. God just kept saying, no, because I'm going to do something with it. I was thinking, oh my God, like, I don't even want to do this anymore. No, but I'm going to do something with it. To the point where I was like, I just need to be patient. I've only been running this platform for just over a year, and I don't know what I expect. I don't know if I expect it to be rolling in millions of pounds, but you hear the stories of the Steve Jobs, you hear the stories of the Amazon owners, you hear the story of the people that started life in their garage or wherever it is, and many of them say the same thing. They had to be patient, not only with their product, but with themselves. And so many of us are not patient with ourselves. We're not patient to allow the time for the seeds that we have planted to truly grow. We plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow, a tree bearing fruit tomorrow. How does that even work? Patience. Give yourself a chance. And I really had to check myself and to reel it back in and say, no. I'm not giving up just yet. So if there's something that you have had in your mind or in your heart that you know has been laid there for a reason, have patience, please. Don't give up on it just yet. Yes, it's been a year, it's been 2 years, it's been 3, it's been 4. For some people, it even takes 20 years for something to come out of it. But if you know and you are passionate and you believe and you have faith in what it is that you are doing, do not give up on it. Don't stop just because you're not seeing the numbers right now. If you know you have a vision and you know this is going to go somewhere, you believe in your product, you believe in what you're doing, keep going. Have patience, not only in your product, but also in yourself. You owe it to yourself. Give yourself the chance. Just have patience. So guys, I hope that you really enjoyed today's video. That was definitely something that, you know, just came from my heart. Patience, guys, and that is the second P. So we've gone through positioning. You are moved to a different place. Sometimes you need to get up and move. Then the second one has been patience. Being able to go into a new space, go into a new place, but also giving yourself the space to grow, the space and the time for that thing that you have been maybe watering for a few days, a few months, a few years, giving it the space to grow. So next week we're going to come straight back and we're going to have the third P. So make sure you're back here next week, okay? Thank you so much for all of your love and support. I love you guys always. Thank you so very much, and I'll see you guys again next week for another Wake Up Wednesday. Stay beautiful.